mountain cold refreshment made to chill. And by Discover Card, the official credit card of the NHL. Brian Boucher inside the glass in just a moment. And Brian Boucher.
Thanks, Doc. Tonight, Honda Heroes focuses on Tampa Bay's newfound mindset to play an in-your-face physical hockey game. And this is something we always know about the Tampa Bay Lightning, is that they have the type of skill that can be hard to defend. But the trade deadline acquisition of
All we got to do right now is win this game.
It's not going to be easy.
All together here, all together. We do it together here. Up, up.
Now we're playing to win this thing, right?
Stars dig for it. They score! Corey Perry!
Stay in the bubble forever. We have 6 periods left of the season, hey boys? We'll get the next one.
Montreal Canadiens, world champions.
The Washington Capitals are the Stanley Cup champions. And the Pittsburgh Penguins have won the Stanley Cup.
Gretzky has got it up high.
The Tampa Bay Lightning are going to the Stanley Cup final.
The Dallas Stars to the Stanley Cup final.
In the last 52 weeks, game 96 for Dallas, game 95 for Tampa Bay. No lineup changes for the men in green. For Tampa Bay, Zach Bogosian in on defense, Jan Ruda out. Alexander Volka, the first ever game played in the playoffs for him, and it's a Stanley Cup final, game 6. Carter Verhaeghe comes out at forward. And the Lightning go with 6 defense, 12 forwards. Eddie, your thoughts on that?
Well, Volkov's only played 9 career games, and I thought maybe John Cooper might go to the rotation of 7 defensemen and 11 forwards, but he's going to make that change, as you mentioned, getting Bogosian back, and the youngster gets an opportunity, and be really interesting to see how this game kind of starts off here. And something we haven't talked a lot about is, you know, the being in the bubble and being in the same building. The last change. Dallas is the home team here tonight, so they will get the matchups that they want to try to go up against the top line of the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll see where Rick Bowness goes on the back end. Looks like Lindell and Klingberg would probably be the guys, but up front, what line will go head-to-head against the top line of the Tampa Bay Lightning? Bush, who's the pressure on here tonight in Game 6 from ice level?
I feel like it's on Tampa Bay, Edzo, and, you know, Tampa Bay, they had an opportunity to close this series out. Obviously didn't do it. Tough circumstances in back-to-back games. It was a heck of a hockey game. But to me, I get the sense that the Dallas Stars have really galvanized their group, considering the fact that they have significant pieces out of the lineup, particularly in the forward.
Tampa that's a win away from the Stanley.
Underdog mentality, and I think they're a group that wants to prove everybody wrong. I think they feel like they've lived to see another day, and I think Tampa Bay, if they don't get off to a good start in this hockey game, potentially there could be some tightening to their team. So I think the pressure squarely lies on Tampa Bay to wrap this up here tonight.
In the white uniforms of the road team, 9-1 are the Tampa Bay Lightning, and their coach John Cooper said he couldn't really explain why they have been so good as the designated road team. There's no travel involved, and they don't get the last line change. But now the scene shifts to the ice, and the pre-anthem ceremony now.
Of America.
Oh, say, can you?
Coach, this is his son. The winningest goalie in the playoffs, one victory away from getting the family name on the Stanley Cup. When Anton Khudobin was 13, his parents left their jobs in Kazakhstan, moved to Siberia to follow his coach, so Anton could learn hockey in a better place. 2 wins away from getting the family name on the Stanley Cup. Both goalies have had magnificent moments the last 9 weeks. Barclay Goodrow, Blake Coleman, Yanni Gord. The pesky line starts for the Lightning. Eric Chernak, Mikhail Sergachev back on defense. John Klingberg begins on defense with Esa Lindell, Jamie Benn, Joe Pavelski, Alexander Radulov up front. Eddie, what do you think? What do you think?
Can't wait, Doc. Lots.
Yeah.
Look at. Honestly, there is a boatload of energy in this building. And I know it's probably hard to believe with no fans, but you can feel the excitement from ice level.
It is Klingberg to make the first play. Vasilevsky, the first handle. Hung up on a two-a-side scrum. And eventually thrown back out by Gord. Klingberg again. Carried back in by Jamie Benn. Benn glides around behind, Chernak on him. Poked along by Coleman, picked up then by Goodrow, has Coleman breaking. Goodrow tried to work one in front, but that blocked aside by the checking of Benn. Carried back up again by Lindell, given over to Klingberg, but in the path of that was Coleman, who dished it on back.
Good back
Victor
check.
Hedman.
Good back check by Jamie Benn on that partial 2-on-1 coming all the way back, denying that opportunity for Tampa.
Kept alive there, and that one ricocheted off of Miro Heiskanen for the Dallas Stars. Meanwhile, it's at the half boards and eventually twisted back out. And again thrown back in. This is Oleksiak handing on to Heiskanen. Heiskanen couldn't clear all the way. And so it's right in on Khudobin, who decides to hang on.
Well, the matchup here against the top line ends up being Oleksiak and Heiskanen to start this game for Rick Bowness. And Jamie Benn comes all the way back. 14 Green coming all the way back on the back check. Goodrow looking for Yanni Gord, and the captain of the Dallas Stars denies a quality-looking opportunity for Tampa here early in his first shift of the game. And got the iPad out looking at that last shift, I would assume, and like what he sees early.
Left behind by Cogliano, blocked away by Khudobin. Swept on around near Cirelli. Hanley there, and Johnson kicked off the back of the cage, retrieved and dished back along for the play out by Corey Perry, and here comes Perry up the wing. Perry sent it across. Dickinson has it there. Both Dickinson and Andre Sekera, the defenseman number 5, were question marks earlier in the day. When Rick Bowness was talking with members of the media, he said game time decision. Both of them were shaken up earlier in the series, and particular Sekera in game 5 missed the entire second period. But they are in as this is brought ahead by Klingberg.
Good play, Sergachev there on the other defenseman for Dallas. Klingberg jumping into the play. We've seen that a couple of times now here early for Dallas, trying to engage their D-man.
Forced in by Paquette. Delayed offside is wiped. Then it is fired back around and can be dealt back further and around for the keep by Sergachev. Then knifed back along again. Sergachev hustled to keep play moving, but it is back out as far as center before it's lost back in by Pat Maroon and settled back through the pipe slice carefully there by Khudobin. And that one is blocked down but could not be controlled by McDonough. Then rattled back in for the stop by Vasilevsky and the play that comes back on. And here's Yanni Gord. Gord able to slip that one back and across to Oleksiak. Leading shot blocker, leading hitter on this team, the Dallas Stars. Once again curled around and will be chased down by Heiskanen. Heiskanen leads everyone in the tournament in defenseman's points. This is carried back on now by Pavelski. Pavelski hunted down by Bogosian, who has returned to the lineup now. Palat And then fielded and carried back on by Ryan McDonough, but denied neatly at the line. And this forced back ahead, but just that quickly another steal by Kucherov, played back along by Palat. Palat tried to work it on through, puck up for grabs, on across now, and dropped across by Kucherov to point. Laid around behind Lindell there, slowed it down, went back to play again. Heiskanen trying to help him out. It's taken along by Point, fed back over near Kucherov, and then knifed away from him, and emerging with it is Heiskanen to try the other way, and that one directed back down. And it is an icing.
Well, Braden Point's going to try to get this puck right here to Nikita Kucherov, but watch the great stick right there of Alexander Radulov. This is going to be a prime scoring chance. And you see the quick little shoulder turn by Radulov to realize, and again, fist sticks up in the air, that puck goes right to Point, and Kucherov, and he's got a good quality chance from about 25 feet out. Doesn't seem like a lot, but takes away a scoring chance, and only one shot in this game to this point.
Right on goal, that makes two. Killorn, and one that Hudobin could see all the way. And dish back in. Hudobin able to play that one. Dickinson there to help out. Meanwhile, it is flipped back out of harm's way. Long toss ahead, brought back on by Killorn. Killorn scaled it back around and comes all the way back for a trigger pull there that was right near the hash marks and no danger. Played back along by Corey Perry. That one kicked on back now to Alexiak, and Alexiak sees that one go all the way to the Tampa Bay line. Grabbed again and played back along by Klingberg, walked back on by Tyler Seguin, and Seguin popped it back in.
One thing,
as Eddie mentioned, go ahead.
Sorry, Doc. One thing Dallas got to do a better job of is keeping the puck away from Vasilevsky. He's really trying to help out his defense in his own zone. If you're going to shoot the puck in, it's got to be with a purpose. Keep it away from the goaltender.
Worked back ahead by Kiviranta. Yoel Kiviranta sees this one drop on back, and it is wound around behind there by Volkov. Alexander Volkov in the first ever playoff game, and it's game 6 of the Stanley Cup final, 92 and white. Working his way around behind there was Dowling, got it onto the back, and here's a shot by Sekera that had to be turned aside by Vasilevsky. Poked along further now, dish back in, and Gurianov watches now as Vasilevsky can play. Away from Volkov and all the way back. This bounce near Gurianov, and he makes the safer play back. Safe plays being the order of the day, just 2 shots to 1. This is held and a shot, and that one ricocheted off of Vasilevsky and ricocheted wide.
Yeah, I think that hit Radulov in front. Radulov was able to get a stick on it before it got to Vasilevsky, so a good job by Ben getting it to the net, and Radulov arriving on time.
Radulov arrived on time there, but he was sent down with authority. Around behind now, still battling. Bogosian stepped into him, and now it comes out to center, and Bogosian retreats and makes a diving play and nubbed it right back across to McDonough. And back in. Heiskanen able to play there. Connects back ahead for the carry back up, and then the leave by Cogliano. Able to recover, but only to get it out to center, and a penalty is coming up. Cogliano will go.
Yeah, Doc. The trip power play coming here for Tampa.
A power play that has been deadly for the Lightning.
penalty killers for Rick Bowness and the Dallas Stars. But think about the injuries that they have and the guys that are out. Foxa, penalty killer. Como, penalty killer. Hintz, penalty killer. Huge kill here for Dallas early in Game 6.
They killed off the one, the only one that the Lightning had last game. But let's just see, as you've seen those prominent names flashed up on your screen for Tampa Bay. Kucherov across, Palat there, drive by Hedman. No luck on the first try. Kucherov around behind off the glass, but Killorn retrieves off of Lindell. Kucherov to the back. Hedman lost, and so that gives Dallas a breather.
Good.
More players spill over the board.
Good stick there by Jamie Benn.
Kucherov on back, giving it on over for the carry back in by Shattenkirk, but that pass escaped over the line, well away from Palat, who now can curl back. Palat weaving his way along, looking for an avenue and for someone to pass to, decides on Kucherov, and then on back for the feed by Hedman. That's tapped by Kucherov and taken by Point, and Point holding. Halfway through the power play opportunity. Led onto the back and given back over to Palat. Here's Palat moving back along. Oh, good challenge came from Alexiak there, and then it is Killorn. Then rattled on around. Pavelski there, feet in front. Alexiak is able to clear.
Well, a little tightness on Tampa Bay. Palat having trouble settling that puck down and certainly didn't look comfortable on that flank. Is something that we didn't see earlier on in this series. There's a little uncomfortability for Tampa's power play.
.25 to go. Sergachev able to bring it back ahead. Sergachev with a pass off of Gord. And again, the Stars get it as far as center. Rushing on back is Tyler Johnson. Dished it back to the point, but it's at center. Sergachev across and a steal there by Sagan. Sagan dropped it back, fed by Dowling across, and a shot wouldn't go. Oh, great opportunity there, shorthanded, and the penalty time is up. Brought right back ahead and moving on out of the box is Cogliano. Tried to dish one to the front of the net, but it ricocheted wide, and Chernak dropped it behind.
That was Heiskanen that jumped into the play. Got a beautiful pass there from Dowling. And I thought Heiskanen was in between. It looked like, should I pass, should I shoot? And he didn't get a lot on it. He tried to place it instead of just firing it. Missed opportunity.
Pass comes on across for a backhander by Goodrow that's turned aside by Hudobin. Puck back to the point. Chernak a shot. Oh, and that one almost found its way past Hudobin, who didn't see it until the last split second. Now it is Cirelli, stood up there by Klingberg. Rushing to this and trying to chop it along was Janmark for Dallas. Dished on around by Hanley, and then coming across and trying to lift further and getting it safely back out is a Dallas defender. 3 shots on goal to 1. Almost halfway through the first period. Ahead with this is Victor Hedman. Poked one across that is retrieved there and carefully played back by Dickinson. Can be handled now and worked on by Sekera. Woven back ahead. Dragged on further but into some traffic. Wanting to play further was Dickinson, but prevailing are the Lightning. This one can be dragged back in by Point, eventually retrieved by Palat over to Kucherov, then led to the back to Bogosian, trying for Hedman, but then he wiped out, and so it has started back up in a 2-on-2. Crisscrossing our Ben and up the wing Lindell, and the shot is tipped up high and out of play by Bogosian. 9:46 to go first period. Kind of tense, isn't it? No score.
on that Tampa Bay bench.
Well, it definitely grabbed the attention of the Tampa bench. Probably 3/4 of the bench stood up after that hit by Corey Perry. We'll keep an eye on Sergachev to see if he ends up going back to the locker room. Right now he's trying to shake it off on the bench.
He was unbelievable in that Game 5. He was outstanding for Tampa.
Rifled out by Heiskanen. They try to work it back up the wing. It's off the short glass at center and carried back up by Alex Killorn. Then Dickinson as Heiskanen took care of Killorn, and then he recovered and put one in. A rebound that came from Johnson off the initial shot by Killorn, and Hudobin got them both. Led to the back now, and here's Hedman shooting one. It went wide. Rebound sprung right back out and can be picked up by Kiviranta. Nudge back out, and Oleksiak up on the play to golf it back in. 5 shots to 1. 8:10 to go, first period. Banked back down, and no icing on this play. But now we get a stoppage of play and a penalty call.
Yeah, it's going to be on Klingberg. Volkov did a great job of negating the icing. He won the race, and then Klingberg was going for the puck. I believe he was going for the puck, but he ends up tripping Volkov, and an easy call for referee Kelly Sutherland, and that is a heavy, heavy hit by Corey Perry. There you see Sergachev making that change, trying to take a piece of Klingberg, and then Johnson with the opportunity. Hudobin did a nice job there, Bush, just staying with Tyler Johnson, not falling for that first little move there and cutting down the angle.
Yeah, we saw a similar save for Hudobin in Game 5 where he was able to recover and get a push across and make that save, so a good job by Hudobin, the battle there.
Hedman hands it across. It's worked back in and can be taken by Palat. Oh, Hedman a shot, and that one didn't go.
I like how they're
rattled all around.
Yeah, I like how they're using the back of the net on this second power play. A little bit of a wrinkle for Tampa Bay. Didn't see that on the first power play look.
And Kucherov's over here on this side of the ice. They haven't gone that in a while.
Here's a shot by Point, save, rebound, score! Point! Power play goal! 1-0 Lightning!
Boy, Nikita Kucherov makes a brilliant play right here. Gets the pass in the Point. Big rebound given up. Janmark not able to have a strong stick and lift up the stick of Braden Point, who follows up. And Tampa on the power play lead 1-0.
Time and space for Braden Point. He had it, and Hudobin not able to corral that puck. I think he thought it was in between his arm and his rib. It wasn't, and an easy put away for Braden Point, who is making a real strong case for MVP in these playoffs if Tampa Bay wins.
14th goal, 4th on the power play. Kucherov gets the primary assist at 12:23. And so the power play in the series continues to be something to be reckoned with as you see the celebrating going on down near Amalie Arena.
They have a watch party in Tampa.
Twisted on a cross, Bogosian tried to work it ahead. Follow through now is Gord, and Gord flops it back in, and Hudobin there to stop. Hudobin turned it along, turnaround shot, ricocheted off a defender wide, cranked toward the net, but that wouldn't work, and so it is Jamie Benn picking it up and starting it back up. Stars with just a lone shot on goal. Meanwhile, coming back is Gord, defended there by Heiskanen. Worked over with a couple of lacrosse checks, and then Gord is able to work one back, and Sergachev a shot, and a loud pad stop made there by Hudobin. So the shot total goes up for the Lightning. Another shot is kicked up to the glass on a deflection, and so it's along to Corey Perry. Perry flopped it back out. Killorn dealt it. Hanley took it and got it back across. Held along by Sergachev. None the worse for wear after that heavy hit that came from Perry. Sergachev punched it back out, walked back on by Perry, and dropped back in. Sergachev there again. Jostled there by Kiviranta. Meanwhile, it can be worked along by Killorn. And Killorn is able to flop one back high that bounces down and can be played by Hanley. Connected back up to Seguin. 5 assists in the last 2 games, as Eddie pointed out earlier, and feels that his game is back. Despite the goal-scoring drought, the artistry is back as Volkov dips the shoulder, wants to go by. No sail with Dickinson. Lindell around behind. Knocked away from Klingberg. Led onto the back. Hedman a drive, and that one directed away. Meanwhile, it can be played to the outside and dealt back in by Volkov again. Killorn trying to work there. Wanted to center. Picked off by Paquette. Cedric Paquette guided it to the back again. Shattenkirk across. Drive by Hedman, and that one canceled right out. May have ricocheted off Paquette at the front, but at any rate, it has walked on back. Could not be worked through, and so it is dealt back in again by Killorn.
Quality shift for Tampa Bay's 4th line, and a good job by Hedman in getting pucks to the net. We've seen him do that all playoffs long, but a real good shift in the offensive zone for Tampa's 4th line.
Gurianov flung that one in. Vasilevsky had to hurry. Almost did not, but meanwhile, it has started back up now to Kucherov. Kucherov tried to play to the Palat corner. Taking the hit from Palat was Heiskanen. Comes right back near him, so they have to do some more battling. McDonough's shot carefully snapped up and held by Hudobin. Point got his own rebound and cashed in on the power play. How many times have we said that? It's happened a lot for Tampa Bay. 1-0, they lead.
National Coffee Day is now National Dunkin' Day. Hockey fans, Dunkin' wants to see your playoff beards. Head to any Dunkin' and grab a free medium hot or iced coffee with any purchase on National Dunkin' Day, September 29th. Exclusions apply.
I hear you're growing a beard for the Preakness. Is that true?
That is not true.
Okay.
Coming up Saturday right here on NBC.
Are you going to have your hooves painted? Anyway, here comes Terry, and that rattled back in. I know a little bit about show horsing, but not about racing, as my betting record would prove. Meanwhile, this is dealt back further, and Heiskanen grabs. Heiskanen able to pass it ahead, and it can be peeled back in by Kiviranta, and around it is Vasilevsky.
There's another play again by Dallas, just throwing the puck in and allowing the goaltender to stop the puck. You can't get into any forecheck if you just turn the puck over to the goaltender like that. So I think Dallas has got to do a much better job here of placing pucks into the offensive zone and give themselves a chance. Sometimes you can't help it, like on this particular play here, but if you're going to shoot it around, you got to keep it high in the glass and keep him in the net.
Carried back up by Shattenkirk and a shot. And then trapped off the boards and held by Hudobin.
Well, let's go back and take a look at the power play goal for Braden Point and where the puck hits Hudobin. The shot is high. It catches Hudobin in the chest, and sometimes those can be difficult to corral. If it's more towards the logo of the jersey, easier to swallow, but that one seemed to handcuff Hudobin. And sometimes it's not the fact that you leave a rebound, it's where you leave it. And he left it right on the forehand for Braden Point, an easy put away, and Hudobin was not able to relocate, or his defenseman able to pick up the loose change, and that's what gave Tampa Bay the 1-0 lead.
Bush, just looking at that replay again, Hudobin thought he had that puck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it seemed like to me on that last look that you showed. It hit him, and he kind of froze. Like, I don't want to move because I don't want to drop the puck. And, just that lack of feel there, and that created a point. He had pretty much a wide open net.
Shattenkirk with a shot, and that one loose. Oh, and a great stop made by Hudobin that time on Kucherov, and another try, and that wouldn't work. Onto the back again. Lightning are just wheeling him here, and that one wouldn't get all the way through. The Lightning did seem tight earlier in the game, but the scoring of the power play goal has caused them to flex even more muscle, and it's registered in shots on goal.
Yeah, it's exactly that, Doc. The second power play got them going, and now they've got some steam going in the right direction. A really good recovery by Hudobin right there to come up with that save on Nikita Kucherov and fighting through some traffic. I mean, this is an awfully difficult sequence of saves for Hudobin, yet he was able to come up with the answer on Tampa Bay's top line. So a good job by the Dallas netminder to shake off that goal that he gave up on the power play and battle his way here in this first period.
Boy, Kucherov threw the puck from below the goal line after he had that brilliant chance, and Jason Dickinson it looked like it went from his skate to his stick and then right into the blue paint. And Hudobin had to fight that one off as well.
This one whipped back out, a race on for this, and it becomes an icing. Time for NHL Coaching Insights from SAP. John Cooper, the coach of the Lightning, for having these three guys together. Actually, Point and Kucherov, he said the other day, have been together for about 3 years with interchangeable parts on the left side. But look at what they have done in the last 5 games. And they did have a figure in the only goal tonight, point from Kucherov and Victor Hedman on the power play.
Palat, 11 goals in his last 15 games in these playoffs. I mean, just don't hear a lot about Palat on that line, and understandably, but maybe the glue that keeps that line together. He does it all.
This one is covered by Hudobin.
That was a little interesting there, wasn't it?
It was. How do you feel when you have those happen to you?
Well, anytime a puck is bouncing in on you, right, you don't want to get cute with it. And this puck, you can see, is just kind of bouncing slow. His stick, well, he was going to play it, so he had his stick in a motion like he was going to play the puck, and maybe it looked worse than it really was, as the 5 holes seemed to be covered up there for Hudobin. But yeah, you don't want to get cute on bouncing pucks. Get your body in front of it. Try not to handle it like you're a shortstop or a second baseman. You really just want to block it more than anything.
As he did there, shots are 11-1. Dallas wins the faceoff. Alexiak there, and then it is sent on, and Kalano sees this one come back around for a shot. Oh, and getting a piece of that from Dickinson was Vasilevsky, and out of play.
Dickinson with an opportunity. I like the little change of direction here. Kamano takes the hit. Hedman allows it. Watch him just pull this puck in and then shoot it and try to go back the other way, and it just catches the top shoulder. The right shoulder right there of Andrei Vasilevsky. And look at Tyler Seguin again. He was the guy that was in front of the net on a Heiskanen chance earlier in the game, and there you see Sergachev and Dickinson having a little bit of a disagreement, but a good quality chance there for Dallas.
From the face-off spar, it is Gord able to lob it back out to center. And eventually it is carried back on by Coleman, trying to pick his way through. Coleman closed off by Klingberg. Puck escaped all the way over to Ryan McDonough, then around for Coleman again. The ex-New Jersey Devil able to roll it to the back for a shot that was directed wide. Played back on by McDonough. Then around, took a crazy bounce off the boards. Flagged down by Gord and pitched back around behind again. Kicked back out for Ben. The Stars captain gets a through-the-legs pass to connect on now. Into the throw back in by Pavelski. Bounce back out.
Good shift.
Now that was one of those, right, where you could throw it in and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, unfortunately, his line mates went for a change there, and that was an easy exit out of the zone, but a real good shift for that Gord line, hemming in the top offensive guys for Dallas.
Here is Corey Perry around behind for Sekera. Under 100 seconds to go here in this opening period. Seguin popped it back in, goes rushing back in to get it. Seguin there wanted to center, and we're going to get a penalty call. Kelly Sutherland, the referee, is going to signal a Tampa Bay penalty.
Yeah, it's going to be on Victor Hedman. He came in contact, I believe, with Corey Perry on the near boards. And there you see the interference. The referee Kelly Sutherland, an awfully busy human tonight. He's called all 3 penalties, and the right call there. So a late power play in the first for Dallas as head coach John Cooper looks on.
10 straight kills for the Tampa Bay penalty killing unit. 0 for 2 last time. But that was last time. What happens here? Joe Pavelski will try to win it. The best faceoff man on the Dallas side. Well over 60% in this series. Doesn't prevail here. Slipped on around, but kept by Seguin. Then on back now for Haskin and moves in and shoots. That one ticked away and then comes on back again and onto the back. Pavelski a shot, and that popped up high as Goudreau was in the way.
A good save there by Vasilevsky off of Haskin, and I believe there was traffic in front of Vasilevsky that he had to fight off, and a good chance for the young defender for Dallas.
Heiskanen tried to swat it on through and got it there. Now Radulov sets it up. Given back over to him by Ben. Radulov fans things out there. He's got Pavelski back near the circle. Heiskanen across. One-time shot scorched wide. They get set up again, and it's chopped back over by Pavelski, taken by Radulov onto the back. Heiskanen across. Pavelski parked in the front of the net, hoping for a deflection there. With that omnipresent stick, he sets it up again for Seguin. Seguin a drive and a save made by Vasilevsky. Seguin on through. Radulov back. Heiskanen there. Then Pavelski wanted to feed across to Ben, broken up and cleared back down.
Well, a couple of good saves for Vasilevsky, and Rick Bowness decides to put Radulov back on that top unit, and a couple of good feeds by Heiskanen to Seguin. Some quality chances, but Tampa Bay netminder has the answer.
5 seconds to go. Here's Corey Perry with a shot that's blocked down and cleared. And that does it for the first period.
Well, some positive momentum for the Dallas Stars at the end of this period. They don't score, but they get some chances. The feed by Pavelski to Seguin, then a give and go, and back to Seguin. A good read there by Vasilevsky. Here's a shot with some traffic. He got Radulov there, and a real good blocker save off of that chance by Heiskanen. And Seguin, who's on that one-timer side, looking for Ben, and you can see the look on Ben's face
Hey.
My name is
to help us win games. He brings that bench of talking to the guys, when to get it going, when to calm it down. Same. So we
try to play hard and give what you can. And
same.
The Stars win in double overtime.
coaching staff has done a tremendous job of giving
Navy Federal Credit Union, our members are the mission. By Progressive Insurance, save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. By Lexus, what amazing ideas will you inspire next? And by Truly, the official hard seltzer of the NHL.
Well, Andre Palat has been a force in these playoffs, but the ice is not the only place where he has excelled this summer and fall. A few nights ago, Palat donated 25 bags of brand new hockey equipment to local youth hockey players in his hometown and his native Czech Republic. The motivation for Palat came from former Tampa Bay defenseman and 2004 Stanley Cup winner Pavel Kubina, who is from the same town and donated brand new equipment to youth hockey players when Palat was a kid. Palat, who used secondhand equipment virtually his whole youth hockey playing days, knows the impact a gesture like this can have on young players, so he decided to pay it forward. A big 2 thumbs up to Andre Palat, who not only has made a difference in these playoffs, but also made a difference off the ice in his hometown in the Czech Republic.
Magnificent gesture. Well, an important face-off win for the Lightning because they forced the Stars back with half a minute to go on this first power play for them of the night. Heiskanen brings it on. Gets the pass on to Ben, tipped back in, retrieving is McDonough. Rattled it on around, but it's kept alive and handed over to Heiskanen. Dealt back in near Ben again, couldn't get it. Fed on by McDonough, played further by Chernik, given back across now for a shovel shot that is canceled right out again and then retrieved by Pavelski once more. Poked on back and Heiskanen could not recover out of the penalty box. It's Hedman and he's able to advance and lay it right back across. Oh, and the bouncing puck would not work there. Now back ahead, it's Radulov. He's got a man breaking Alexiak and couldn't get the pass through. Alexiak with it again. Threw one out for Radulov and it's covered by Vasilevsky.
Well, when you're sitting in the penalty box, you're open for an opportunity.
With it again.
But here Dallas gets a chance as Alexiak jumped into the play, and as I was mentioning, Hedman jumps out of the penalty box, hoping for an offensive opportunity, looking for Barclay Goodrow, and just unfortunately bounces over the blade of his stick.
Lightning prevail on the face-off and drop it back out. Curling back now is Esa Lindell. Lindell just reverses. Early stages, second period. If the Lightning win it, they've gotten the Stanley Cup. If Dallas wins, Game 7 Wednesday. Forehand shot is turned aside by Vasilevsky from the stick of John Klingberg. Hoisted back out again on the bounce by Kucherov and settled down by Klingberg. Lindell tries again, and this time it careens back in. Going back deep was Dickinson, but taking over is Point, and he settled it down for Hedman to curl back up for Shattenkirk, and nicely back ahead. Here comes Kucherov, spinning one on a cross, and it is Palat. Then around to Kucherov. Kucherov plopped one that ricocheted on back over for Palat, and Palat is able to step and fire one, and a save made by Hudobin.
Oh, that went through a major screen right there. Hudobin never saw that puck. You could see him shake his head after that Palat shot. Couldn't believe that that puck came through.
Jostled off was Killorn by Hanley, and Hanley able to play it back around now to Sekera. That one peeled off and started out by Sagan, played back on to Perry, laid back across to Hanley. Hanley able to poke it back past Bogosian, but he recovered and played it around behind. Fired back around by McDonough, kept alive further by Sekera, and then a pass was directed across and eventually can be fielded and thrown back in by Killorn. Hanley goes circle to circle across, gets the return from Sekera, then the long pass directed, but then lost and then recovered, but still could not be played by Kiviranta. So once again, Dallas recoils. Responding the Lightning, taking the Stars. Hanley again. Kiviranta then has to follow up again and step in and shoot one that's turned aside by Vasilevsky. Kiviranta's shots are often foolers, aren't they? There's one that's directed by Chernak, played back along by Maroon, and regathered by Lindell.
Yeah, he has the ability to shoot the puck in stride with, I think, sometimes catches goaltenders in between, or Not a lot on the shot, but I think it's the release, how quick it comes off his stick. Kind of gets goaltenders in between.
And if a guy's moving his feet at the same time, Edzo, that's where as a goaltender, you know, you don't wait for him to get set, and it doesn't allow the goaltender to get set either.
Goodrow able to play there, and a big blast would not go and hopped out of play.
Well, this week, Fallon has BTS all week long, plus John Cena, Jim Parsons, and Adam Sandler. And tomorrow, Jimmy's live after the presidential debate right here on NBC. An all-new week of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon begins tonight.
Well, here's a shot by Palat. Look at that screen. You can't even see Hudobin. And after it just hits him, and we'll see it if Hudobin shakes his head. This one goes off of Coleman's head, I believe, that one-timer. And so for Hudobin, he's looked really good after giving up that rebound and giving up that goal in the first period. He's been sharp, and was certainly sharp on that save there.
Chopped on ahead and brought back on by Kamano. On a cross for a little feed, and Pavelski, a backhander that's held by Vasilevsky.
Well, what has happened here, and we talked about it earlier in this game. Tampa's defense starting to get much more active. Right part of your screen, that's John Klingberg, a defenseman, jumping in. And I think for Dallas, only 6 shots on goal. Nice play here by Vasilevsky off the save from Pavelski to create that chance on the back end. I think you got to press the pace here. Recognize the situation, but don't be afraid to jump in.
Klingberg shot up for grabs and then eventually taken on by McDonough. Laid out for Goodrow. Played back in to the Klingberg corner, and he goes in after it. Help had to come from Lindell, and it did. Klingberg tried to touch one across, but that one directed on back, and Hudobin has to help, and Klingberg has to reverse. Lindell steps to this, shuffled back away from Coleman, taken by Bogosian, stiffly off of Klingberg, fielded by Lindell yet again. And again, the Stars are back deep in their own end, trying to work their way along. That one bounced away from Kucherov. Again, it's forced by Lindell back behind to Klingberg. But ahead this time for the carry back on. And it's lifted in by Radulov. 4.5 played, second period. The only goal scored on the power play by Tampa Bay's Braden Point. And that back in the first period. Long toss ahead is lobbed back further. Alexiak didn't have to play this one. Kucherov able to slip this back in, and it pops up high. Fair catch called for, and then Heiskanen followed through again, and then tipped back out to center. That was for you Cub fans in the audience or in the booth. This pitched on now for Alexiak, trying to work his way along, and slugged on back and down, and an icing.
Bridgestone Dueler tires are built to drive around the entire Earth.
Alexiak working further with Hedman on him. It came back to Killorn and carried ahead by Johnson. Johnson led it over, tapped in by Shattenkirk, and retrieved by Sekera. Longtime Buffalo Sabre able to play it back. It came back to Killorn and then Hedman. So Eddie said earlier off the glass You have any other solution as a former goaltender for Dallas?
Well, you can soft it into the same corner and allow and then get after it. So it's about placing it in the right spots. I think that is most important. You can hard rim it, but everybody has to be on the same page, knowing that they've got to flood the other side of the ice. But right now, Dallas just seems content to get the red line and just simply get it in.
That one directed back. Vasilevsky just set that one up so that it could be played by Sergachev. And this one escapes down and becomes an icing.
Well, here's that play from Jamie Oleksiak there. I mean, that thing's got to be much more firm with a purpose, as you touched on, Bush. And I think this is the 9th time I've seen them tracking here. 9th time where they shot the puck in and Vasilevsky stopped it. So again, if it's 3 less than that, then maybe there's an opportunity to get a forecheck. Maybe you draw a penalty. Maybe you get an opportunity in front of the net. But something that they have to clean up big time, Dallas.
Maroon dropped it on back. A feed across on Coleman, scores! Blake Coleman makes it 2-0, Tampa Bay.
Well, how about this? The Dallas Stars fan growing up gets one against his favorite team as a kid and makes it 2-0. Good job by Maroon to pick this off in the neutral zone, drive that center lane, which opens up the passing lane for Paquette. And it draws a defenseman in, and then the finish by Coleman. A terrific play executed perfectly by Maroon, Paquette, and Coleman.
That hand-eye coordination by Patrick Maroon, who won the Stanley Cup last year in St. Louis. Comes to Tampa, and Radulov tried to stretch that play out. Tampa was in the middle of a change, and Maroon had just jumped on the ice, knocks it out of midair, and then it's a quick developing 3-on-2, and perfectly executed, as you mentioned, Bush, by Tampa.
Dish back in again, and it is Camano trying to jostle it free. Dickinson in there working as well. A 2 aside, and now 5 players going after it. Feed came along, and Palat defensively trying to get some help from Kucherov to punch it along. They succeed in getting it as far as center ice in this period of the long change. Coleman from Paquette and Maroon. The scoring play for the Lightning to be ahead by a count of 2-0 now. Bouncer came back in, dragged on by Camano. Camano tried to work further, and that one is dropped on back end.
There's a penalty here, Doc. Ryan McDonough interfered with Tyler Seguin, and Anton Hudoma was leaving the net because he thought there was a power play, but Tampa touched the puck, so he raced back, not knowing who the penalty was against. But Dallas is going to get an opportunity with the man advantage, and here's the penalty.
And so Ben leaves, taken by Heiskanen. Weaves his way ahead. Coleman on the penalty kill. Could be a big hero down in Florida tonight, along with a whole bunch of others. But lots of time to go. Dealt along by Pavelski. Work back in for the feed to Radulov. On back to Pavelski again. Heiskanen has drifted in deep. He's normally the point trigger man. Pavelski is normally the guy near the front with the deflection. To the outside, a shot, and reaching for it, but having it tipped away on the deflection by Ben was Vasilevsky. Carried right back along now by Seguin. Seguin dropped it on back. Heiskanen, a shot, and it's held by Vasilevsky.
A little bit of a different wrinkle, as you mentioned, Doc, with Pavelski and Heiskanen. You got a left-handed shooter in the middle of the ice there, and here's the opportunity as Seguin enters the zone, and Miro Heiskanen, relatively easy save there, and Seguin looking for a little bit of a redirect as that puck came in, and good positioning, good stop from Vasilevsky. I would almost want Radulov there instead of Heiskanen on that power play setup there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think initially they want to have Heiskanen feeding Seguin, but it seemed to be a different look as Seguin was on the right side for most of it.
Shot, save, rebound. Oh, and we get a stoppage of play, and there's going to be an interference call coming up. And it is against Dallas in front of the net. Corey Perry, it seems.
Corey Perry, who has made his living in front of the net, and he's been a pest in the last couple of games for Andrei Vasilevsky. You see right here, he backs right into Vasilevsky, knocks him over, and look at that save on Kiviranta. It would not have counted, but still the save. Perry backs in, Vasilevsky down, and a toe save by Vasilevsky. That is something else. But Perry, we know where he plays, and he goes to the front of the net. You documented it, Edzo, in the open about Dallas scoring goals net front, and Perry's done a good job of getting to those areas in this series, but unfortunately just a little over-aggressive there on the bump on Vasilevsky.
Both teams a man short for 40 seconds. Offensive zone face-off to be taken by Cirelli. Heiskanen and then Seguin. Dropped on back to Heiskanen again. Of the 15 wins for the Stars, 9 have come when they have trailed in the game. They are trailing 2-0. They have been outshot 13-7 in the game. And that one deflected up and out of play.
Good stick by Sergachev there. Gronk and Bradshaw team up on a new episode of the Bradshaw Bunch. Not brunch. They have Stars on the Bradshaw Bunch Thursday at 9 Eastern on E. Set your DVR or rings. Rob Gronkowski.
So much attention has come to Sergachev for his offense, but he has been very impressive in this entire run of this last 2 months in how he can play defense too. To the outside, it comes on back now to Alexiak. Alexiak wristed one that is cut off by Hedman, and he just squirrels around behind and then just holds on to it and then plays it back out to center. Power play has begun for the Lightning. They have connected already once tonight. It is carried back on by Point. Braden Point hands it across. Slamming on the brakes is Palat. He's got Kucherov at the right wing circle. And it is laid on back to the point where it can be sent back over to Kucherov. Kucherov dropped it on back. Hedman holding and shooting one. And that didn't go. And then it's cleared back out.
Might have been Dickinson with another shot block. Nice setup there by Tampa, and Dallas was able to protect the middle of the net.
Here is Palat yet again. Then onto the back, it's rifled across, and it's Kucherov, a shot and a save made there by Hudobin. Held along and elevated back to Hedman. Kucherov, oh, and he tried to set up something for Killorn for the tip in front. Then on to the back it comes to Hedman, across to Kucherov, around off a point, and then eventually sent back out again.
Well, anytime Dallas on the penalty kill has been able to force Palat to make a pass on the wall, it helps them out. Anytime he can make a direct pass to Hedman, that's when trouble starts for the Dallas Killers, and Tampa gets a quality look. So keep an eye on that to see if they can continue to pressure Palat and force him to make plays indirectly on the wall versus direct to Hedman.
Nudged along now for the take by Yanni Gourde. It is Gourde just waiting. Shoved off, but he rolled off of that, and then gliding along now is Coleman. Tried to feed one in front that's blocked off, and then eventually hooked away by Lindell. Sailed on back for a toss that Klingberg was able to get in the way of. Klingberg on back with 40 seconds still to go. 40 long seconds, it must seem like, because it's all back in the Dallas zone.
What an effort here by Yanni Gourde. It's a one-man wrecking crew there. Just what an extra effort shift there. Now you got some tired players out here for Dallas, especially on the back end.
Klingberg able to reverse it along to Lindell. Those are the two that are the most tired that are out there for Dallas. Meanwhile, it can be spun back ahead. Moved back along to Killorn, then fed back, and a nice reach there to tip it away from Cernak by Sagan. Klingberg yet again, and this time it's carried up by Gurianov. Gurianov able to march back in, and a shot was stifled to the corner by Sergachev. Full strength action. Sergachev around behind, peeled away from Gurianov. Punched a little pass ahead that is kept alive by Heiskanen, and around behind Vasilevsky to twist it on. Cernak quickly up the boards, but it got stymied there by Sagan. They try the other way this time. Sergachev there, poked along, and Palat is able to send it back. Alexiak to take over with 6 minutes and 40 seconds as of right now to go in the second period. On goals by Point and Coleman, the Lightning have the lead. Dallas continuing to work here as it is spun back around by Camano and taken to the outside, and a little feed in front, and Camano was gliding at the front of the net but couldn't make it work. Camano again, and that one ricocheted back out. Forced carefully back in by Kucherov and retrieved by Camano. He's all over, stepping right back out in front and leading the rush ahead with a pass that was broken up, but then Camano waits and pitches it back in. Shattenkirk gave it across. Hedman connected ahead. This is Point rushing back on. Braden Point able to pivot there and peel off to the outside. Point able to glide right along the blue line and hold on. This is Point setting up Hedman for a shot, and that one wouldn't go. Meanwhile, it started right back ahead, and stepping on with it is Janmark. Fired it in and then took the hit that he knew was coming. It's set up for Hedman. Controlled back by Point, handed back on now to Maroon. Maroon wedged off to the corner by Klingberg and rolled easily off that before getting it back for a shot that was well wide. Cranked on by Bogosian, and a save and a cover by Hudobin there. 5:21 to go, second period of play, virtually nonstop play, and the Lightning leading 2-0.
Commando with an opportunity. Dallas able to come up with a kill a few moments ago, and then they try to get the work. This one off the skate of Commando as he's driving the net, got inside on Eric Chernak, but unfortunately that goes wide. Commando, who came in this series a few games ago, has been really good. He's got good energy, he can skate, he's been physical, and at times he's been noticeable in this series. Just hasn't had an opportunity to get one to go just yet.
He's only played 6-12, and he's got some good jump in this game, and I think Rick Bowness recognized this, given an opportunity out here with Dickinson and Ben, and probably some different line combinations coming for Dallas.
Here's Bogosian leaving it across. Angle to the corner, and Kucherov dropped it back onto point. Led onto the back again, Bogosian once more. Around behind, and it's Kucherov escaping to the outside. Kucherov dropped it on over Bogosian there, matched by Dickinson, who tapped it away. Then it's Palat battling. Emerging, though, is Alexiak, but he lost. And then point off the boards, and it hopped on to Dickinson. And Dickinson off the boards, but not out yet. The duel on, Dickinson couldn't clear. What a spinorama move by Point. How does a guy even think to do that? But anyway, back down. We used to say the same thing about Gretzky that we say about Kucherov and Point, people like that. How does he think to make a play like that? I guess the answer is it's just so natural and whatever.
One step ahead of everybody else. That's where those guys think.
This tapped across, and Shattenkirk. It must be a lot of fun to play the game when you're that way. Right back in, it's taken by Lindell, scaled back around further. At the half boards defensively, Gurianov couldn't get it back out, so it pops to the corner once more. Steered away from Killorn by Lindell's reach, but Killorn prevailed only as far as Dowling, and so it is Lindell yet again. And this goes down. Icing call.
Introducing Wendy's new Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger. Nothing will distract you from the pretzel bun and beer cheese. Not even all the comments on the pic you posted of your Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger. Download the app to order ahead and get Wendy's rewards.
Tampa Bay 11. Special teams on the power play, Tampa Bay 7 and Dallas 1. Forced in by Sergachev. Jammed along by Hanley. Out there was Sekera. Poked along by Chernak. Around it is Coleman. But that one escapes all the way down, and Chernak will take it. 23 years of age, the former Los Angeles King gave it on a cross, and this one can be brought on back. It is Gord moving to the front of the net, and Coleman with a rocket of a shot that is held by Hudobin, and there's more between Gord and Ben.
That was a difficult save by Hudobin. This puck was on edge when Blake Coleman let it go. Doesn't get a lot on it, but Hudobin's able to absorb it. And there you see Ben in the gourd, and then across the net comes off its moorings. And
gosh, Brian, we slow those replays down and the puck on its end looks easier than it is. But what does it do to you?
Yeah, those ones that are on edge like that, those are the ones that they're tough to control the rebounds. And if the speed of it is off, it's like a change-up in baseball, too. You're expecting something a little harder, and it might come in a little slower. But I often found it was difficult to control rebounds off of knuckling pucks like that. And fortunately for Hudobin, he was able to, get it in his arm and no second chance opportunity, and then the scrum between Ben and Gord. But yeah, it can be hard. I mean, you don't want to get cute with those. It's more about blocking, and if you have to leave a rebound, you just hope you leave it in front of you and not off to the side where it could be an empty net goal.
Shot off the post.
Well,
and turned back on.
That got tipped on the way in. The McDonough shot hit something before it got to Hudobin.
Banked on by Bogosian. And then settled down, but couldn't be controlled. The follow-up now, and the shot is turned aside by Hudobin. Around behind, it can be worked for further. And followed up now by Kiviranta. Floated on out to center. Sagan couldn't come up with it. And stepping back in with it is Alex Killorn. Killorn puts on the brakes, delays further, and hands back on.
Tired guys out there again for Dallas.
Shot did not find its way through from Sergachev. And forced back out by Lindell. And ahead but unable to get to it as Gurianov goes in with Hedman. And the two-a-side battle in the last 2:10 of this period. Hoisted back along to safety at center. And so Alexiak will go back. Meanwhile, pivoting with this is Palat from the checkered line back in and slowed down there. Dealt back further and can be stashed on out to center ice, but unable to get there was Dickinson. Played back across for the walk back on by Yanni Gord. Gord able to work it further for Coleman, the scorer of the second goal tonight. Got it on back for Chernak, but his shot was directed away by Dickinson, who was able to recover and hand on now for Janmark, and then ahead for the lob back in.
Well, face-off win by Tampa. Ryan McDonough with the shot. Yeah, and right off of Esa Lindell, or the battle in front of the net there by Tyler Johnson. Yeah, the stick of Johnson and off the post, and again another shot on Hudobin with traffic galore, whether it's his own team or the other side.
Tribute to Hudobin. His team has gotten 7 shots on goal at the other end. And he has faced some difficult ones. And his friend the Iron came up for him there. Meanwhile, this is battled back up the boards and can be tipped back over now. Pavelski with a shot that is grabbed and held by Vasilevsky.
Well, talk about Tampa Bay's top players, but how about the third line, the Yanni Gord line? They've been effective in this hockey game. Barclay Goodrow with a good block. We've talked about their physicality in the open and how they tend to get underneath the opponent's skin, but they've had some success. Kind of a bit of a line change. Coleman was out there with Paquette and Maroon, and he cashed in for his first goal of the series, but this third line has been something else for Tampa Bay with regards to energy, physicality, and now a little bit of offense from Coleman.
One of their lighter nights hit-wise, those two wingers with a total of 4. But they've gotten points, so that's okay, too. Meanwhile, coming by now is Heiskanen. 122 hits entering the night for Coleman. It must be sore. Here's a shot that is turned aside again by Hudobin. Another shot, and Hudobin got a piece of that one. A busy guy as the shot total goes up. And every one of these saves is so critical to his team to keep it as close as 2 goals.
Almost too many men on the ice there on Tampa. Tyler Johnson jumped on the ice.
And he'll cover with 17.9 to go in the second.
Tampa can feel it right now. I mean, Dallas does not have a lot of energy here. Haven't had a lot of energy in the second period. And Dallas looks like they're playing uphill, and Tampa is playing downhill.
Off the face-off, it comes to the back. Shovel shot, Owen flailing at it. But seeing it go off the glass that time was Hudobin on the hard try that came from the point by Hedman. Here is a try in front and a scramble for it there. It's thrown at a bad angle by Cirelli. Crank back down the ice at the horn. And it is still a 2-goal game after 2.
Pretty simple hockey by Tampa. Anytime they get an opportunity, just throwing it at the feet of the goaltender here. Time expiring, great ice awareness, clock management by Tampa. 20 minutes away.
to get to Toronto, to get to Edmonton. 22 shots Tampa Bay, 8 shots Dallas. Seems lopsided, but the difference is 2 goals, not 6. Striking distance, but will it change? Let's just see here. Nudged ahead and brought back on for the shot that is grabbed and held yet again by the busier of the 2 goaltenders tonight.
Awfully difficult to write off the Dallas Stars. I know they haven't had their energy or their legs so far through 40 minutes, but this team has battled back time and again in these playoffs. And as you said, Doc, 2-goal lead. They're within striking distance. And if there's any amount of undisciplined play from Tampa Bay, you could have an opportunity to strike on the power play. You see Rick Bowness there telling his players, get going. Expect these defensemen to force things here and try to make it a 4-man attack and see if they can generate some offense.
One to the point for a shot by Hedman, turned aside. Stepping to this now and curling around behind to the outside. Working on further was Johnson. They burrow in some more. Killorn peeled off. 2 Stars. And Cirelli sees this one curl back along so Johnson can get it back to the point. Hedman able to roll it back in. Uncontested for the moment. It is sent back up, but then kept alive now by Killorn. Killorn bodied, but he rolled right off of that attempt. And so back up it comes to be slipped back along, but not out. A little feedback across that is allowed to go, and then brushed along further and taken to the outside by Kucherov. Here is Kucherov flinging one in front, and Hedman had peeled all the way in front, hoping to take the pass, but that didn't work out. My goodness. 90 seconds into period 3. Will this be the last one, or will there be a Game 7 coming up?
I think the mindset for the Dallas Stars is get one at even strength. You hope you get a power play, and you grab a lot of energy from that. And if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, the mindset on that bench is we get the next goal, we're going to win the Stanley Cup. So something's got to give.
Floated back out again by Kucherov, and it can be started back ahead, but then left behind. So back across, it can be started back on and worked by Lindell, and then back in, forced back high, just away. And will be chased down again by Lindell, and it becomes another stoppage of play on an icing.
We've documented enough on how it's been difficult for Dallas through the neutral zone, and they're just getting dumps that really materialize to nothing. So these offensive zone faceoffs are going to be critical to try and win these faceoffs and generate something off the faceoff win.
Sagan will try to win it from Yanni Gourde. Up for grabs and played back along. Sagan has it around behind. Tried to tuck one in front. Second effort, no. Rebound, and it is held at the side of the net, and then down to the ice went Sagan.
I think it was the stick of Ryan McDonough after the wraparound. The scramble. Watch the scramble here. Might have been the stick of Bogosian. It wasn't McDonough.
Well, Sagan's bleeding pretty good as he heads to the bench. And right there, I think it's his own stick that catches
yeah,
the
right.
net
That
zone,
was a better look there. Yeah, exactly what it is.
Emerging with this, the Lightning, but off a stick. That of Killorn, and so it can be chased down and eventually played further by Heiskanen. Heiskanen connects back ahead. Just one by Dallas cuts the lead in half. But one more by the Lightning will cause even more craziness down in the streets of Tampa Bay. They weave their way back out. Twisted back along and outletted ahead. Some trouble there. Paquette, but then shoved off was Sekera. Puck came free and can be started right back ahead. Gurianov wanted to go further, but we get a chance to see some of the bleeding that took place on that one that was a self-stick.
Five assists in the last 2 games for Tyler Seguin. And John Cooper, the head coach of the Lightning, barking at the officials, wanting to know why the faceoff was outside, saying that Gurianov shot that puck into the bench of his own team from his own zone, but the referees felt it was not, and that's why the faceoff was outside.
Forced along by Lundell. Meanwhile, it escapes all the way out to center. Shattenkirk again played it in. Matched up there with Victor Hedman defensively, and so it is the big man who plays the most of anyone who tried to work that ahead. His average ice time came down because of a prominent lead in one game, and so he was rested some. But now this is Shattenkirk again. Long toss goes back down and on goal and had to be dealt with there by the netminder Khudobin, and so this led back over for the carry back up. Shoved right back in on the bounce and gloved and held by Vasilevsky.
Well, the final jewel of the Triple Crown is the 145th running of the Preakness Stakes, Saturday at 4:30 Eastern right here on NBC. A full field of 11, and the favorite will be Authentic. Ridden by Hall of Famer Johnny Velasquez and trained by Bob Baffert, who won the Kentucky Derby.
Got a feeling?
He will be the 9-horse, but don't underestimate the Art Collector, the 3-horse.
I remember you saying that before.
Yeah, before the Derby, yeah, he came up with a little bit of an injury. He was unfit to perform in the Derby, so I think he's going to run large on Saturday.
Onto the back for a shot. That one scrapped for there, and Seguin unable to come up with the rebound as it was well away from him. Covering and working on back now is Klingberg. Puts on the brakes to shake the work of Coleman. All the way back down, and another icing is called here.
We just talked about it in the second period. Everything for the Dallas Stars. Haven't been able to sustain any offensive push at all. No surge at all in this game. It's been a lot of one and done. Chip the puck in, not able to get through the middle of the ice, and skating uphill for the majority of this game. But somebody's got to make a play. And if it's going to happen, it's going to be from the back end of helping some of these forwards maybe turn a 2-on-2 into a 3-on-2 or a 1-on-1 into a 2-on-1 and see if that develops.
Strong shot by Kucherov off the faceoff is held.
Good faceoff win there by Braden Point. Set faceoff play here as Kucherov is lined up in behind Braden Point. Wins the faceoff, goes from the backhand to the forehand, and relatively easy save there for Khudobin.
I was mentioning on our conference call this morning with Rick Bowness, asking him how many times out of all the possibilities since he took over as coach, if you figure pregame, each intermission, overtimes, postgame, that he talked to the team, and of course he had no estimate of that, but he said you don't go in every time. You count on your assistants, you count on your players. But I'll bet he went in after the second. And that stoppage of play.
Well, 2-0 lead. How did we get here? Power play. Kucherov to point. First shot, save. Second rebound, top shelf by Point. And then a second period. Beautiful play by Patrick Maroon through the middle of the ice. Knocks it down. Paquette to Coleman. And the Plano, Texas native gives his team a 2-0 lead against the team he grew up cheering for.
When you've coached in 5 decades, as Rick Bowness has, you have a lot of experience on what can motivate players. And so I'm sure that that was some of what he had to say at the end. And it's not exactly the scare tactics that you might think a coach would have. But we don't know, and we won't know until later on. But a very experienced guy and loved by players wherever he went. A player's kind of coach. This poke back ahead now, for a jab on out to center ice and can be settled down and worked across. Stepped ahead and rolled back in by Sergachev. Settled down now and recoiled by the Dallas defense. And back down and on goal. No icing on this, so retreating to play is Alexiak. You see any change in anything that Dallas is doing that might help them here in the third from the first 2 periods that they had only 8 shots in?
Not really, Doc.
Fed on back and a shot by Hedman. Oh, my goodness.
Goryanov with the shot block. And a tap on the helmet there by Hudobin to Goryanov. Prior to that shot block by Goryanov. And for Dallas right now, I mean, it's just hard to make a couple of passes and make a play out of the zone because Tampa's just absolutely giving them no room to make any plays. And the energy level is so low for Dallas right now. So they just got to try to dig and dig deep and get this to 1 and then see what happens. It's way too early to take chances, but you got an opportunity. You got to go ahead and press ahead and press forward here and try to create some offense.
Outletted ahead by Hedman. Poked along and then spirited back in once again and around behind. Twisted along further by Vasilevsky, and then it hopped back down and becomes an icing.
20th time, Doc, in this game. We just saw it. Kiviranta shot the puck in. That Vasilevsky has gone in behind his net, stopped the puck, and then given it to his defenseman or one of the forwards that might be around the net.
I'd like to see Kiviranta try to make a play there. I mean, on the entry, but maybe end of a shift, tired, and that's been the theme all game long. And Vasilevsky's been good in the playoffs at handling pucks, so it shouldn't be a shock that he's been able to do this.
More hard work and around behind. Pavelski wanted to get there, but no luck, and then this is sped back down the ice. They try to start something ahead again. Played back by Alexiak. Spotted further Alexiak yet again, and then it's cranked back in once more. And so it's held.
Just put that number in perspective. Over the course of a regular season game, it's somewhere in between that 12 to 15 number, and we still got 12 minutes left to go here in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. And again, it just takes all the momentum on the forecheck away is when he's playing like a third defenseman out there.
Led onto the point, Klingberg there.
Just missed, just missed.
Not by a lot. Kept alive and punched back further. Forehand shot, and that one waffle boarded away by Vasilevsky. Good crunch there as driving back in. Gurianov, and then back up the wing, and it's brought back on. Big drive by Maroon, and it is held.
Nice pass by Zach Bogosian. Beautiful pass here. Bypasses 4 Dallas Stars who are trying to press up. Maroon with the shot. And here's that play. Klingberg gets it to the front of the net. Tipped by Maroon and just up and over the crossbar. I mean, really, you could look at that last shift for Dallas and say, that might be the best sustained pressure they've had in the last 40 minutes of this hockey game.
Never a bad play. You want to complete that?
Get the puck
Meanwhile,
to the net.
That's right. Big hard drive that time by Chernak. Meanwhile, they battle further. Point trying to jam it in at the side of the net and hanging on to it. Ending in the whistle and stopping a play is Hudobin.
Yeah, over the course of series or games, patterns develop here. And look, you got to give the Tampa Bay skaters some credit for taking away time and space from the Dallas Stars, who are not able to enter the zone with control. They're under duress, and the goaltender goes back and is having a field day of just setting up for his defense and exiting the zone. So less time in your own zone is usually a good thing. I don't care what analytics you're looking at. And so far, so good for Tampa.
Led back ahead. Here is Alexiak trying to fling one in front, and that one turnaround shot that went wide. Kicked on back now, set up for Klingberg again. Then led to Alexiak, back to Klingberg once more. His shot, and that was turned aside by Vasilevsky. Led on back again. Another shot. Vasilevsky got a piece of that one. Maybe Dallas starting to come on here.
Yeah, maybe off the mask of Vasilevsky, that last shot from Joe Pavelski. As you saw Alexiak, the big defenseman, in on the forecheck, down below the hash marks, and a couple of good shifts here back-to-back for Dallas.
Yeah, great work by Ben and Radulov fighting to get to the front of the net, and it's important when you do that, get pucks to the net, and that's what happened. But those guys were battling hard against Shattenkirk, and I believe it was Hedman that was out there as well.
Outletted ahead for the carry back on, trying to work it back in, but unable to do so until just now. Oh, a great opportunity on the backhander that came from Cagliano. Turnaround shot, and that one blocked off and can be carried back up, and then gently laid back in once more by Barclay Goodrow. Directed back on further and can be played around and held by Sergachev. So the first bit of a surge in this game coming from the Stars. Jammed around behind now. Heiskanen able to play it there. Heiskanen leaves it back across. Lindell worked ahead. Scrap for it center and nudge back in the final half of the third period of what could be the last game of this 2 months of incredible action. Nudged on back further. Game 130 since August the 1st. Drop back in again. Trouble came there for Lindell. But it's given right back and can be worked on by Heiskanen. Heiskanen gave it back across. Lindell with it there, away from the sweeping attempt that came from the forechecker Tyler Johnson. Ripped right back along, trying to get there as Seguin punched it around behind. Picked back on for a centering pass that ricocheted across, kept alive there by Alexiak. Working back in, around behind now, it can be sent on back for a shot. Save made there, rebound, and it's cleared back down. Reacting quickly on that was Vasilevsky, and it becomes an icing. So a bit of a surge here for the Stars.
Yeah, and it all starts with a good dump. Seguin able to retrieve it, and then they get to work. Klingberg finds a lane, gets it to the net, and the stick by Killorn is able to get it out of harm's way as Seguin was finding a way to get that puck to the net. So a pretty good shift here by the Dallas Stars here in the last couple of minutes.
Well, there's Alexiak jumping in on the forecheck, moving the puck back to the point. Klingberg, the shot, and the quality look there for that line. So again, expect defense for Dallas to be all over the offensive zone.
Van won the draw and controlled it. Got on back to the point now. They play some catch with it there before it's knifed back down, and so having to retrieve is John Klingberg. Klingberg nicely able to sashay away from one. Gains the zone, lost control of the puck, swung back out. Might be a 2-on-1 developing, but no puck possession, so not there. Thrown back in by Gord. Played back up now, and it is controlled and lifted along by Joe Pavelski, and then forced back in by Seguin again. Rattled on around with a little over 8 minutes to go in regulation time. Turnaround shot, and that one is stopped, and we get a stoppage of play. And what have we?
Play with a high stick, Doug.
Play halted here in Edmonton. Not a besieged goaltender, but he's... part of June. Some of the guys were on the ice, and then it got organized in July. And then it really became serious then. And at that time, 24. And then 2. And all of them with dreams of being here at the end in Edmonton. And only 2 could be. Shot is blockered away by Vasilevsky. Meanwhile, this is brushed on back. Good follow-up there, and a chance now for a backhand attempt that squirted right in on goal from Heiskanen and is held.
I know the energy level is low there, but I don't know why Heiskanen did just try to take this puck right to the net. Turnover, unfortunately, there by Kucherov off the stick of Sergachev, and Heiskanen there kind of just, once he got to his backhand there, Bush, he just got his legs spread out. He never thought about taking to the net. I think he was thinking pass first the whole way, and then that whole play just shut right down. But expect defensemen, as we said a little bit earlier, for Dallas to be aggressive offensively.
Yeah, and right there, I mean, drive Sergachev. Maybe draw a penalty. Even if you don't get a shot on goal, you know, you try and force him to defend a little bit harder. And apparently an easier play for Sergachev when he stayed on his backhand.
Shot, and that one is held by Vasilevsky. You always say, Eddie, it's never a bad play to put the puck on net. Sometimes you would like to see someone carry it in further, and other times pull the trigger faster. And that has been a part of the analysis both of you have provided, especially in the Stanley Cup final. But off this face-off win, the Stars have it once again. Laid back along by Klingberg. Gotten on back, and it is Alexiak to play it further.
No stick for McDonough, Doc. No stick for McDonough.
Popped out of play into the Lightning bench.
Missed opportunity there for Dallas. 2 face-off wins. Clean, and you get the one shot on by Klingberg, and then this one here. Little set play is Klingberg looking for Ben. Ben throws it to Alexiak, and Blake Coleman does a nice job there. You see the stick break on McDonough battling Joe Pavelski, but Blake Coleman did a wonderful job there of just shutting down any space there for Alexiak, as the officials have a little cleanup to do.
Only 2 Stars have won a Stanley Cup. Only 1 Lightning player has won. Of last year's St. Louis Blues, none who got their names on the Stanley Cup had ever gotten that before. Spun back in. And a steal, almost. The operative word. And eventually swung back in. That one went through Hudobin and then can be played around behind. Outletted ahead in the last 6 3/4 minutes of regulation time. Point around behind. Trouble there for Hedman. Puck forced in a careen back on, while falling, played back out again by Alex Killorn, and icing yet again.
Oh, and as Edzo said, a couple of face-off wins here recently for the Dallas Stars led to some chances, but not able to cash in. That last dump was a good one. They were able to retrieve it, not able to make a play off of it, but the more chances they get off of these face-offs, you would bet the better for Dallas, as they have had just a difficult time getting through the neutral zone. So these are big opportunities with the offensive zone face-offs.
Well, Braden Point on the draw for Tampa has won 10 of 13 so far in this game, and he wins another one.
But Joe Pavelski moved in and almost caused a turnover of possession, but Point